thank you for recording first so we can hold on to this and you can share it with him. Brandon Williams, if you come to my door, I will pry your mouth open with my bare fingers and spit inside of it.
Feels like there's a 50-50 shot that Brandon Williams listens to the podcast.
Our guest is Sumit today, but he's coming a little late. We're just going to get a kickstart on solving it for him.
Sweet. You gonna imitate Sumit's accent?
I can't do fucking like a British accent, never mind an Indian accent. That's just going to be asking for it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't hear the British in there, so
What? What?
in
I can't do
Sumit's
accents.
accent.
No.
Oh, I
India.
thought you were. I thought you
I'm
were
saying I can't even do like a British accent.
I too thought that's what you meant.
No, I can't
I
even
was
do
like,
a British
wow,
one. Never mind
I
Indian one.
wasn't picking up British from Sumit.
That's how racist do you think I am? I just think every accent is a British accent.
I thought maybe you knew him. I thought you could discern some British in there because well, I mean, like a lot of like Middle Eastern like people, like sometimes that's how they fucking learned English.
Yeah, sure.
Is British English or whatever the fuck.
That's true. That's how he did say he had a British education. So
Oh well, yeah, there you go. So I mean, like that's probably why I assumed it wasn't even weird in the first place.
yeah,
I was like, wow, you can pick up the British in there because the accent that comes from his skin color is a little bit thicker. In my opinion.
my brother told me, he's like, "Did you tell RJ you're part of the KKK or something?" I'm like, "No." He's like, he makes it sound like you go to clan meetings every time you do the episode. I'm like, I'm glad you're listening.
Oh, dude, it's someone else's bit. I just love burning it into the ground like Richard does crosses.
All right, guys. Well, our guest called me earlier and he wants us to start solve. He's gonna be late. So he can't stay for the whole solve.
Oh, what did he say?
He said that his cousin Parvinder needs us to solve something for him, but he doesn't have he says if he only comes for half the session, he only has to pay half the price. So I agreed to that. I said we solve it. Just like, what do you want us to solve?
I kind of believe you, but that doesn't really sound like Sumit or something. Like I feel like he would have said that differently.
Rick knows how to do a very good Sumit impression, so he's gonna try and do it as if he was Sumit.
Hey guys. That was
Is
it.
that your Sumit impression? Just hey guys.
Yeah.
That was great. It was really
Thank
good.
you.
That was
It's
good
like-
to you.
It was like he
This
was in
is
the room with
Sumit
us.
eating a sour strip.
Yeah, I would bet money that is how he does that.
Yeah, I would actually put money on that too.
Like puts it in his mouth and chews. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So his cousin.
I'm a
Parvinder-
Canadian citizen now.
Oh, good. Yes, you are. You
Is
got
that what they gave you to commemorate it, a sour strip?
And flags, but I took the flags down.
yeah.
I'm working on my US citizenship now.
Yeah. So Parvinder wants us to solve. You call it the Bigfoot killer.
Hmm.
Any questions about Bigfoot killer before I explain? Because
My question is, why does a Pokemon want us to solve a case?
Parvinder's a Pokemon name.
Maybe, I don't know. Parvinder, the perv Pokemon.
You want to solve a Bigfoot? Yeah, you do.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Yeah, so it's Bigfoot killer. Now, you guys ever hear about this before?
No, I have not. I am interested though.
It's a serial killer from the 70s in Detroit, 1975.
Is that why it's very hard to find Bigfeet now? Because he killed so many of them?
Yeah, Bigfoots. Is it big feet? We've
Maybe
talked
it is
about
just
this.
maybe it's like fish, like it's just Bigfoot. It's very difficult to find a clan of Bigfoot.
A lot of Bigfoot. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is it a clan? Would they be a clan?
I don't know what to call a grouping of Bigfoots is probably like a colony.
Colony? Yeah.
That's what it is with monkeys, right?
I'm not sure. But Bigfoots are like insects, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bigfoot killer. Not a super well-known serial killer because guess why? Serial killers get popular because why? Let's just start there. Do you guys know why?
Because they have to kill multiple people to actually rise up the ranks. So they're not popular until they kill multiple people. Because not enough people know about them.
You can't be like, hey, I killed like 13
Yeah.
chupacabra. Take me
It's like
in.
Kamala Harris. It's a grassroots campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Mythical creatures like Bigfoot and Kamala Harris. You can't actually kill them.
It's yes. That is exactly why. Or and maybe this is just an opinion, you guys could tell me. It's because usually they're killing like newsworthy people that are white and young, probably
Oh,
blonde women most times, or just white.
Now I'm uncomfortable. I feel like Bigfoot's a slur.
that feels like a jump. That feels like you
Yeah.
wanted to go there. I feel like we're about to find Pepe Sylvia.
Pepe Sylvia, I don't know what that means.
Always Sunny reference.
You don't watch Always Sunny?
It's yes, I do, but there's like 1.5 million episodes and they've been on for 42 years. Like
It's
it's
not an
hard to keep up with
excuse.
all of them. I don't just watch them constantly. I've watched them once. This guy killed like prostitute or sex workers. And usually sex workers, what do they call them? The less dead or the less anyways, I forget what the word is exactly. Just
Oh,
people
the,
no
like,
one gives a fuck
lost.
about. People no one
Yeah.
gives a fuck about. They might as well already be dead. So
Oh,
it's kind of
man,
sad,
that's
this one.
so fucked up. Like you first they drive you out of your like your colony in the woods, and then you're on the streets of Detroit, probably having to shave yourself every fucking day because that is a lot of hair just to be able to pass off as remotely human. And I would assume a shaved Bigfoot is probably about on the same attractive scale as your average Detroit prostitute, so it probably works. But that's just really sad. That's just like it's not so much like riches to rags, but it is like I don't know. Like I bet it was a peaceful life they had to leave just to be murdered on the streets.
I used to have a nice creek and like a view of
Yeah,
the woods. Now I look at
yeah.
this guy pissing in a fucking garbage can.
Now they're stepping on dudes' balls with 18-inch long feet and shooting up heroin and crying until they're murdered by this asshole.
Yeah, no, there's I'll tell you why the whole thing's called Bigfoot in a bit, but it's not because they're out murdering Bigfoots. I wish it was that. That would be a lot more fun. So yeah, this is 1975 Detroit. Auto industry's already left for overseas for cheap labor. Businesses shuttered up. Kind of a like 1975 Detroit is shitty, like super shitty, poor, high crime rate. Actually, in 1975 was the murder capital of the U.S., which I didn't know that. I didn't know Detroit was so fucking violent for a while.
Yeah, Detroit being like one of the worst cities, you could just like close your eyes and then like there'd just be like a list of years over 50 years and you'd point to one and that would still be a true fact.
You think it's murder capital of the U.S. for that long?
I don't think it's murder capital for sure, but it's not a good place. My close friend Justin, he left there like 10 years ago because it was too bad and just where he grew up, and that's still it's in the fucking 2000s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my buddy, he said when he went there, I think he's doing stand-up, like touring. He said he could buy like a slum house for like $400. Like, what the fuck? So fucking
Yeah.
bad. Yeah. So it's just the worst. It's already terrible there. These crimes happen in a part of town called Cass Corridor, which was like the worst of the worst at the time. Nowadays it's like Midtown Detroit, and it's actually like a nice place to fucking live in Detroit. Basically, it's just a gentrified fucking like place in Detroit. But 75, you could get cheap bars, sex workers, drugs, fucking killed, super shitty place.
Could fuck a Bigfoot.
You could probably fuck a Bigfoot, according to this. Between the months of February and October, someone was stalking the poorest parts of the city and killing sex workers. 7 ladies between the age of 16 and 22 were murdered by the unknown killer, who is now known as the Bigfoot Killer or the Cass Ripper or the Cass Strangler. I'm just using Bigfoot Killer because I like it more. I find it stupid because it sounds like you're out killing big feet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know I heard what you said earlier, but I'm still choosing to believe that is what this is about. So,
well, maybe we'll change your attitude towards it when you find out why it's called the Bigfoot Killer. You got that name from the description of sex workers that were like several sex workers came forward in 1974 saying that they were raped by a huge man with abnormally sized hands and feet just before the murders in 1975. So the police believe it's the same man who did the murders in 75. He just escalated. And police think because the description of like giant hands and giant feet on this guy were by everyone. So they thought he might have a disorder called agromegaly. Acromegaly.
Well, like Andre the Giant.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like it's just a fancy word for gigantism. But I didn't know that you could just get that in parts of your body. You know, like I thought it was your
I
whole
didn't
body.
either. Yeah, I
But
thought
you
you
could
still had
just,
to be like tall as fuck. I think like that it's still like disproportionate, but I
yeah,
thought everything was still pretty big.
you get bigger. But I didn't know like this guy was supposed to be 6'6", 6 foot, like he's huge. This
Oh
guy,
yeah,
but they
that's
say his hands were even out of proportion and feet were out of proportion from even his like giant size, which I didn't know that could happen.
see, all I'm hearing is another displaced creature that was just trying to reconnect with the others of his colony that he found roving the streets, whoring their bodies.
Okay. Uh, like I said, this guy was said 6'6" with the big feet, the big hands. I don't know if that necessarily means like gigantism though. I think the cops just kind of like said that as like a because the girls kept saying he had big hands. You could just have giant hands. Like let's say a 5 foot tall sex worker and a 6'6" guy comes with his big ass paws on you. Like I'm sure that looks scary. Like you're gonna say his hands were fucking huge, regardless if they're like proportionate to your 6'6" size. You know, I think that just got exaggerated, is what I'm saying. But anyways.
Yeah. Well, how dare you assume that cops didn't underthink this, all right? Like I'm sure that they did due diligence. I know that they for sure were like, no, we have to prove that his
Uh,
hands and feet were too large before we start calling him this.
1975 Detroit Police Department officers were probably
They had work ethic.
scared to go into Cass Corridor. They were probably terrified to go there. Like,
Well, yeah, dude, there's fucking Bigfeet in there.
yeah, I guess that's true.
That's spooky.
Sex workers described him as a black man, muscular build, taller than 6 feet, medium afro haircut with a mustached, unshaven face, estimated between the ages of 30 and 40. Here's the police sketch because I know you guys like police sketches of this guy.
Man, this is gonna be the most racist shit ever.
Why?
I just feel it in my bones.
You can feel it in your butt. It's literally like,
I'm not gonna take your word for it. I don't like it, but
what did you think it was going to be like Shaft? Just like a picture of Shaft?
well, I mean, it basically already is.
Show
Like,
me what you got.
yeah, like this is. I mean, and I didn't realize how on point I was to say this feels like a slur. This because you know, goddamn fucking well, they would have gone with something different if he was a white dude. They wouldn't have gone with Bigfoot, like a primate adjacent creature.
That's probably true, actually. Yeah, it would have been like a white guy with big hands. What they called him, like,
The gentleman.
yeah, the gentleman was out raping sex workers. What a gentleman! He was white, right? He's a gentleman.
Hey, he's white and he's only raping and killing big feet. So
Yeah, he's
we
doing
don't
us a
really give
favor.
a fuck.
The bounty hunter, the monster hunter. So the Bigfoot rapist always had the same routine while trying to pick up a sex worker. He drove around in black, dressed in black, and armed with a knife. And he would pull up in his two-tone brown beige Oldsmobile, roll down the window, and offer the sex worker $15 for sex, which 1975 money, it's like less than 100, more than 90 nowadays. When she gets in the car, he would threaten her with a knife, and then he'd drive her to a secluded back alley. Then he'd proceed to beat her, disrobe her, and rape her. Most of the time, sodomy's involved in these rapes. He also took mementos, usually underwear or bras. And in 1974, it says 4 to 7 women came forward saying that this guy took them away in his Oldsmobile with the $15 method. After hearing the description of the man, the press started to call him Bigfoot because of his supposedly giant feet and hands. Yeah, I think you're right. It's more super racially based. Now that you
Yeah.
say that, I think you're right.
Yeah, because like there aren't like black serial killers. And if there are, they're like Chris Dorner and they're cool. You know?
There's definitely black serial killers. They're just not known as much. The most prolific serial killer ever actually is black. He just confessed
What's
not
his
that long
name?
ago. Something Little.
Whoa, they caught Jack the Ripper and he was black.
No, Marcus Little. It's not Marcus Little. Something
Marcus
Little.
Big.
See, but this is what's fucked up about that. Like they say he's the most prolific. How many of those kills are confirmed? And then they're just like, wow, this man absolutely killed everybody he says. But then you have somebody like fucking Richard Kuklinski, and they're like, nah, he didn't kill that many people. He's making it up.
A white guy could never.
Yeah, exactly. But they probably have a black guy come and is like, yeah, I killed something like 150,000 people.
And they're like, that's it? That's really all that you think you did? You're 27.
Yeah, Samuel Little is the guy's name. Yeah, he confessed to a bunch. What was his? I'm trying to think what his nickname was before they caught him. They just caught him not that long ago, 2012. So I guess it's a while now. But he confessed to 93 or some shit like that, and they have proof on a lot of them. I'm just saying, I say prolific, but that doesn't mean popular.
They said at least 60 of the 93. And not just, again, I just don't trust this. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's a bad guy, and I'm certain he probably killed people. But like, I mean, I don't know. There's something that just feels off about it because, like I said, like you have some of these guys who are in prison are like, they don't even know about all the bodies I have scattered across this country. And everyone's like, he's honestly probably full of shit. But then here's this black guy who's like, yeah, I killed nearly 100 people. And like Rick said, yeah, they're probably just like,
Are you sure it's
come
only
on.
that many? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I feel like it's anytime it's like prostitutes or whatever being killed, no one cares. So like that's what Samuel Little was killing. That's why no one knows about these guys too. Like this guy or Sam Little or whatever. Not saying because he's black. I'm just saying people that are getting killed are just less than dead people. Like it's no one gives a fuck. Ted Bundy's killing sorority girls. You know what I mean? With fucking
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I just
If
think
a black guy went and killed a bunch of sorority girls, it would be a different story, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have gone to jail and had a highly profiled court case.
wouldn't have been able to represent himself in court. And the judge go like, you would have been a fine lawyer. He said to Bundy.
Oh God.
So this guy rapes 4 to 7 women. And then he upgrades into murder in 1975, upgrades his moniker to the Bigfoot Killer. First murder victim was found in
Where do you rank other crimes?
What do you mean?
Murder, rape.
Well, what goes below rape?
Opening someone else's mail.
Yeah.
That's rape below rape. Yeah.
You don't think murder is above rape in the scale of like severe violent crimes? Violent assault?
I want to figure out your perspective. So in 20 years, when we find out how many people you killed, I could be like, yeah,
I can tell you right now, 6.
Yeah, I don't mind that. How many other people's mail have you opened though, dude? Don't even tell me. I wouldn't be able to look at you anymore.
Carol's mail's getting delivered here, all of it.
Okay, but we're talking about people who aren't less than mail worthy, all right?
Yikes.
Fuck you, Carol. Take that. Got her. Shots fired. Bitch.
I don't attack people who have made me breakfast.
That's true.
That's a hard, fast rule I have.
That's a good rule.
Murder, rape, attacking people who make me breakfast.
That one's above rape, I think, in Rick's book. I'd rather rape someone than attack someone who made me breakfast.
What about raping someone who made you breakfast?
Oh my God. Okay, before I get into all the victims here, because really, like, okay, the reason I even say all this stuff is like, I read a bunch of like old newspaper.com articles about this because there's not like shit tons about this out there. So I figured it'd be a fun one to like deep dive and look around. And I don't know, they don't really give much information about any of the girls. They just call them prostitutes. Like that's all they say. Prostitute, whatever, was killed, they found or whatever. Or I'll get through it there, but that's all they really say. They don't give any like family.
Do you think they would
looking for
back
them,
then they would relabel women as prostitutes even if they weren't, just so that they could say like, it's not the police's fault that she died, she's just a prostitute.
Well, the police do later on say like they should be more safe. Like, so the cops aren't really like they are doing shit like that. And I'm saying prostitute,
but like this idea that all of them are prostitutes, is it really?
What?
I just don't know if I believe that.
Believe what?
Like you hear this all the time. It's like just like with serial killers. I mean, not just serial killers, but every once in a while, like, oh yeah, she was a prostitute.
You'll see how this is.
It's like
they definitely do that to like minimize who's getting killed. Like,
yeah, for sure.
for sure, 100%. And the papers, 1975 papers aren't calling them prostitutes. That's me being nice, and that's not even the nice word anymore. Like sex workers, like they're saying hooker and shit like that. Like it's fucked. 1975 is
Wow.
OnlyFans
lawless time.
enthusiast.
Yeah,
Lawless time.
they're saying cryptid. Yeah, these fucking cryptid whores.
Male information these days. I'm sure Rick looked up the Bigfoot killer case with the Metro Police. We could get a FOIA. That's I'm sure Rick's gonna get a FOIA after this. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's not enough information.
I bet Detroit police kept great records. And I'm
sure they did.
sure that they aren't going to make up some excuse.
It would be really funny to get the FOIA just to see if it says on a single sheet of paper he was a black man and he was big.
It would be funny, actually.
Oh, I doubt they would use the term black man, but it'll probably say something.
You don't think they'd touch it up a little bit before they sent it out?
Nah.
No, I mean, probably everybody who wrote it is probably fucking retired or dead.
Yeah. That's probably their entertainment reading now. Remember the good old days?
Yeah.
We could say this, and they all just laugh.
when they yeah, they laugh because what do you mean could say it?
Publicly, I mean publicly. In the newspaper is what I mean. Anyway, so yeah. I feel kind of bad about the story because literally, like, there's no information about the girls at all. There's really not that much information out there really about this at all. And that kind of gets into one of my theories. So anyways, the first suspected victim of the Bigfoot killer was found on February 16th, 1975. The body of Valinda Brown was found raped and strangled in the kitchen of a vacant house at West Euclid Avenue. Same MO as the rapist, just an escalation to killing. So that's number 1. 2, April 24th, so just a couple weeks later, 16-year-old Julie A. Brown was found raped, sodomized, and strangled. A week later after that, on May 1st, body of nude, strangled 19-year-old Regina Foshi was found at 4763 Lincoln Avenue. She was found in an abandoned house that belonged to her relative. That's number 3. A couple days later, so this is pretty fast. These are going quick. This guy's going at it. May 3rd, 22-year-old Naomi Dern Hall was found beaten to death in a room at the Foster Motel. She was dressed in a nightgown, sprawled face down across a bed. Reporters say that Hall rented the room under an assumed name so that she could conduct her business, is how they said it in the newspaper.
You know, I find it a little fucked up that you're giving them their anglicized names and not like their real names, you know, like Crunchy Leaves or Hut Builder.
Okay. Number 5. On June 15th, the nude body of 22-year-old Eoria Char Dick was found stabbed to death on the old Hudson's warehouse just off Jefferson. She was stabbed over 22 times, and this one had like a longer article about her. There's evidence that she was strangled as well. There was mutilation of the breast and wounds on the chest, abdomen indicate that Hall was tortured before death. So this guy was like,
Okay, but are we sure that's not just razor burn?
Yeah, that's true. It's just trying to shave off the Bigfoot hair that could have been.
Very coarse.
She had fingernail marks on her left wrist, showing that she fought back at some point. So that's all there was about that lady, Ioria. So there's 4 murders so far. In late June, police linked these 4 deaths as like one serial killer. The killer was dubbed, like I said, the Cash Strangler, Cash Ripper, or Bigfoot Killer. Police are like, now they're like, okay, there's got to be someone killing these people. And then just more murders happen. They don't stop anything. Just another one dies. Number 5 was on July 13th. 22-year-old Andra Lynn Cox was found dead in an abandoned restaurant, strangled to death. I find it interesting that one of the girls' last names was Dick, and this one here is Cox. So I don't know where that comes from, but I just found that interesting. Andra Lynn was partially clothed, and she was raped and strangled. She actually, here's what this is what you're talking about, Rick. She had no history of sex work. In fact, the first article that was written about her just didn't say anything about that. Next article, prostitute. So they just called her a prostitute now. Actually, that was the article that I had up. I'll show it to you.
I just wonder though, did they do that to make themselves seem better? Like everybody here is safe except for the people that go out and do this type of thing, or did they do it to kind of like not scare people, to not cause panic? And they're just like, no, no,
Uh,
no, no, no. It was good. It was just a prostitute. Just a prostitute.
I think that's a really good point. I think it is probably just because like, it's so far removed and like even if they don't have proof of that being what somebody did, it's like, well, surely they must have done something wrong to be killed.
Yeah.
They somehow had to have fucked up. Also, probably just I mean, it's an easy assumption when it's a Bigfoot. It's just the only jobs that they were working at the time, when they first emigrated to the city.
Yeah, so like if you look here, they had no history of any sex work at all with this lady. But then it says like the body of the latest, Andrea Lynn Cox, was found at Miss Cox was a part-time hooker. They just called her a part-time hooker. What does that even mean?
What was her other part-time job?
That's what I feel like. No, I feel like it's like wet or dry. Like either you're wet or you're dry. Either like a sex worker or you're not. I don't think you have to be a part-time sex worker. Once you're a sex
Or
worker,
she
you're a sex
was
worker.
so fucking good at it that she only
Yeah.
had to work part-time.
I'm sorry. Have you never heard of damp?
That's wet, just
Jesus.
not as wet.
Moist?
Wet again. Just another word for the kind of wet.
Nah. Dewy?
I don't know why that one grossed me out. Moist didn't. Dewy. Dewy got me.
Well, you don't like thinking about big, stubbly, dewy Bigfoot pussy?
Now I do. Now that they got a fifth victim in, the police are like, "Uh-oh, we had better do something because people are getting mad here." So they have a little press conference. They say we got a 27-person task force. There's women, there's black people, there's white people, all sorts of genders and races, inclusive. We're on it. Okay. They literally have to say like, there's women on this task force, there's black people on this task force. Like, oh God.
Where's the
So
Bigfoot representation?
after they make this press conference, news starts spreading across the country about the Bigfoot killer, and he's starting to get a little bit more infamy. And just 2 weeks after the task force is made, on July 27th, the sixth victim was found. She was the saddest of all the victims, in my opinion, because she was originally unidentified, but it happened in cash corridor and had the same like MO as the rest of the stuff, rape, beaten to death. Uh, Months later, I think it was a month later, she was identified as 15-year-old Wenda Curley, and she was a foster child who, like, it's super sad that someone just, it took them a month to even notice, like, she was gone and identify her, which is fucking, yeah, super sad. All these ones are this is a super sad episode. I'm sorry. It is what it is. On July 29th, a couple days after they find the then still Jane Doe, a bunch of sex workers alongside two different women's groups go out to protest in front of the police station, claiming that the police weren't taking these killings serious enough. Police go out there, they're like, whoa, whoa. We made a 27-person task force. Did we not tell you there's a black person and a woman? There's a woman and a black person. This is being taken very, very seriously. But just so you guys know, this would be a lot easier to investigate if you women were more cooperative. That's what they tell the fucking sex workers. Like, you guys got to cooperate a little bit more.
Never mind. I'm gonna save this for my solve.
Okay. The women are like, what the fuck are you talking about? If this was 5 housewives getting murdered in the fucking suburbs, this would be national news and we'd have fucking the feds in here. You guys are not taking this seriously enough. They're like, no, 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 no. 27 people. Did we not? I'm telling you, just you be more helpful. Help us help you. The cops are like, we put out a flyer. Have you not seen the flyer? And the women pull out the flyer. They go, yeah, these are the ones you guys have been distributing. And if you call the number past 7 o'clock, no one picks up. It only is open during the day. And sex work is at night. You guys are doing nothing. Like, whoa, 27 poster, you help. And yeah, so that's how that goes.
Yeah, cops are probably like, I'm not going to take that kind of lip from a forest N-word.
A forest N-word. Oh my God. Oh my God.
That was what they called him, dude. It was a fucked up time. in American
It's a
history.
lawless fucking time. The girls, they're all pissed and scared to be on the streets now because there's someone fucking picking them off left, right, and center. So they start to arm themselves while they're out in the night. But they say that Cops are like, you can't arm yourself because if you get picked up now, it looks like you're gonna rob someone. So we're gonna have to arrest you for having weapons and shit like
Yep.
that. So they like make them disarm so they can continue to work. And then the cops are like, okay, you don't have to bring knives. We'll put a $5,000 reward out there. Okay. So put the knives away. We'll put $5,000 on the table. Any information, we're good.
That was a lot of money, all right, because that was I just saw a thing online. It was a Sizzler ad from 1976, and you'd get a full surf and turf dinner for $2.99.
That's
So
true.
that's a lot of fucking steak and shrimp in 1976, all
That's
right?
true. 5 G's is probably like 100 G's now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what it's like 1,500 Sizzler meals.
That's a Sizzler meal for every Bigfoot in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after they put out that $5,000 reward, it's pretty national news. And then Detroit gets, not really Detroit, the country gets overshadowed by a bigger story.
Detroit, the country, where's that?
Not the country. Detroit, I said Detroit, not Detroit. The whole country gets, this
Oh,
story gets overshadowed by another bigger story, which we covered on this show before.
I just thought it was like a place in like Eastern Europe, like Georgia.
Yeah. There's just like Detroit, and it's all run down. It's like a fucking third world country. And
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is the same.
yeah. Yeah, something happens in 1975. Do you guys remember we covered it on this show? Something bigger that overshadowed this killer by a lot. Jimmy Hoffa dies, gets or whatever he gets, disappears. So yeah, people start to talk about Jimmy Hoffa a lot more than these six women that are already murdered. These sex workers.
That's actually really big news because that was the first time that an Italian actually took precedence in media, especially over a Bigfoot. And about the same time in the country, those were about racially the same to most Protestant whites.
Oh my God. I hate Italians too. Irish too. Polish. Any European really.
Yeah, it's like they used to say, like, I don't know who's fucking hairier, the Italians or the Bigfeet.
It's definitely the Italian women.
What's the difference? There isn't one.
That one Italian that listens to this is gonna be pissed.
No, we got a good following in Italy, Italia.
Fucking at me. I'm not talking about Italy Italians. I will always make that distinction.
Oh, I was.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like any Italian. I'm just
oh,
kidding. As soon as Jimmy Hoffa starts to overshadow everything, the sex workers are outraged. They're pissed again. They go fucking protest again. Some start writing into the newspapers. I saw a nice little article, like one of the, what do you call that when you mail in your own fucking article? Anyways, opinion piece, I guess, or whatever the fuck it was. And she just talking about that everyone's gonna, no one cares about these women. They care about you. They're gonna find Jimmy Hoffa before they find the killer for these six women. It was a pretty good note. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but it just, you could see how the attitude from these women's groups and the sex
Mhm.
workers are getting pissed at the cops, and the cops really don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna guess the title of the article: Big Feet, Bigger Hearts.
Big feet, big rape, big murder, big time. You've gone big time. Yeah, so he's got one more kill. This guy. This happens in October. Actually, I said 16 to 22, 15 to 22 are the ages, but actually this lady was older. I think she was 40. She was 42. Her name was Dorothy Holmes. She found raped and strangled. She's the only one that, since the media was already overshadowed by all the Jimmy Hoffa stuff, I guess they didn't need to call her a prostitute. She's the only one I didn't see that they called her a prostitute in all the articles, or hooker, or whatever word they were using at the time. So yeah, no one's ever been convicted for the murders, and these ladies' murders remain unsolved to this day. So I think that's why Parvinder wanted us to solve this for him. Is yeah, they had a couple suspects though, and yeah, do you guys have any theories before I give you the suspects, or do you want me to go through suspects and then you can give some theories, or whatever? Do you have a good suspect?
Hmm.
I have a good suspect, but I'll hold on to it.
Okay, you got anything, RJ, or you want me to keep going?
No, please continue.
Okay.
I'll marinate on my thoughts.
Okay. There was a guy named Gerald Victor who was a suspect. He's suspect in my book. I don't know how much of a suspect he was in like the police book, but on the same day of the protest, Detroit Police Department officer Gerald Victor was charged with 4 counts of rape. The 30-year-old officer and his 37-year-old friend went down a Cass corridor, and Victor used his police credentials to lure in some prostitutes, whom he later raped with his friend. Victor was fired, and as a punishment, they said we're gonna handle this internally. They put them in rehab, you know, rape hooker rehab. I didn't know that was a fucking rehab you could get into, but they put him into rehab, and he's all better now. Yeah, I don't think they were ever looked at for any of these rapes or murders, but I don't know. This just seems like it could be a cop doing this, and this guy, like the same day as the murders, was fucking put in jail for this shit.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's no way it wasn't a cop.
Yeah, see, I that's what I kind of believe. Like, maybe not
Yeah.
Gerald Victor, but someone in the police department was doing something. If it's not all of them, it's one of
No,
them.
when anytime it's blamed on a nameless, faceless drawing of a black man, it's a cop.
I don't doubt it. So that's just my Gerald Victor one. The big prostitute, the big fucking
They're all big.
the suspect, the most looked at suspect was a guy named Carl Mayweather Jr. He was the vice president of the family moving business, Mayweather's Moving and Delivery. They had to make sure they said he was the vice president. Carl Sr. was the president, the father-son moving company. There's a president and a vice president. So Carl was a giant guy. He was big boy, 6'6", 235 pounds. So why was he suspect? Because of that, he's huge. Size 14 feet. He was actually caught in the act during a rape he was committing on January 29th, 1976, which is like right after the Cass Ripper or the Bigfoot killer kind of actually stopped. So it's kind of weird that he got caught raping someone and then all the murders stop happening. That day on January 29th, police got a call from a resident in River Rouge of a lady screaming. So the officers responded and found Carl raping. So at first the cops think like, oh, we caught a rapist. Good job. Good work, boys. And then they go to search the guy's house and they find 669 pairs of women's underwear, a machete, dozens of knives, a stack of sketchy Polaroids, and bags of women's jewelry. And when I say sketchy Polaroids, I mean like Polaroids of many women. I don't remember how many there were, just in nude positions, scared positions, just smiling like normal ones too. But they're pretty sketchy. It didn't really look like there's any murder ones in there, but definitely gross. So the more they look into this guy, the more like little clues that this guy was the guy came out. Like his house was only one block diagonal from one of the victims' houses, the home of Regina Foshi. That with like the size of the guy, they try to like ask him about the rest of the rapes and murders. And before they do, they actually go look into his criminal history. And 2 years prior, he was charged with rape, but he got to plead guilty to a lesser charge of indecent liberties with a minor. And for that, he got 2 years probation and what looked like in the article a 10-cent fine. It was a .10, but I don't know if that's just from like scanning the old newspaper. But either way, it's $10 fine. So you get $10 and 2 years probation for raping a minor in the States in 1975, which is holy fuck.
This is a black guy?
Yeah.
Wow. That means he didn't do it.
They were like they had money. They weren't poor. They were like,
Oh,
yeah, they had that
okay.
business and they were doing pretty good for themselves.
Why only $10 or 10 cents? Like,
I don't get, maybe that's just the standard. Like fucking that's what the cop or the judges did for everyone. Like, oh, another minor rape again. Here, $10, bam, next. Just a gavel fucking train. Anyways, Mayweather also admitted to committing 2 rapes a year for the past so many years. So yeah, he when he's questioned by the police, he's like, yeah, I rape people all the time. I've done it like two a year for the past, I don't know, as long as I can remember. Which
Oh,
yeah,
it's really chill of him to like limit himself. Everything in moderation.
he's never convicted of any of the Bigfoot killer crimes. And I'll tell you why in a second. First reason I'm assuming is because his dad stood up for him. His dad told the newspapers, they got a nice quote from him. This is the direct quote from the newspaper. He's got girlfriends, so many girlfriends that he can't keep up with them. He doesn't need to go out and rape women. They put that in an article.
that's why you should never give anybody a quote because you never know what the world's going to turn into. When somebody asks for a quote, you say no, thank you, and walk away.
That's
Ever.
true. That's true. That's actually a good rule of thumb. how many times in like 1994 I would have said, "Yeah, my brother's a faggot." You know what I mean? And then that's quoted in a newspaper somewhere, and I'm done.
Or you talk shit on Hitler, and then it goes the wrong way. Hitler wins, and you're like, no, no, no.
Or talk shit on Trump, and then Trump wins. Anyways, so yeah, he's got so many girlfriends. He doesn't need to rape people. So Carl Sr. says he's got a rock solid alibi. He's working. I saw him. He came to work, left work. He couldn't have been out there raping women during those times because he was working. I am his boss, president, vice president. I feel like that's the dad just like covering for him, but that's just me. Although, even though that might be a lie from the dad, for at least one of the murders, it looks like Mayweather has an actual rock solid alibi. He was in jail. So for the murder of Belinda Brown, he was in jail, verified from the police. The police actually cleared him for 4 of the murders, the ones of Andrea Cox, Julie Brown, Dorothy Holmes, as well as Belinda Brown. So yeah, there's still, he could have still done the 3 other ones, but those 4 apparently are knocked off because he was in jail or verified had an alibi, which it's kind of crazy because that guy sounds like the guy, giant hands and fucking 6'6" guy. Like there can't be too many of them walking around, like, you know what I mean, raping, and he got caught raping. So it sounds like that guy.
Maybe not raping, but have we not just been discussing how there's a whole community of them that were displaced in
That's
Detroit?
true. That's true.
Fucking big Sasquatch erasure on this podcast, and I've had it.
The Sasquatch, yeah, I'm sorry that they got so raped. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Carl was convicted of the rape that he was caught red-handed doing, along with another charge of breaking into a woman's home and sodomizing her. He got 60 years in a mental health facility. He was eventually released and still lives somewhere in a small house in Detroit to this day.
It's the house from Barbarian.
Yeah. And then my last theory. Detroit 1975 was a shitty, and this could be any number of people. Could be police, could just be fucking a person, anybody. It was just a shitty ass place to live. I think this is multiple murders. I think it's easier to make the big black guy with the freakishly big hands and big feet, the big murder man. I'm not saying Carl Mayweather Jr. wasn't a bad dude. Like, I'm not saying he did all of them, but he did bad shit. So it's easier to try and blame someone like that, I think, than to actually like look into who did this. I think he might have raped all those girls in 1974. I don't know if he killed them. I'm sure all these murders are connected, not connected by killers, but connected by the fact they're the less than dead and no one cares if they die. The fact they were all sodomized, raped, and murdered by strangulation doesn't show a pattern. I feel it's just some crazy sex crazed crackhead who could kill a hooker. Like that would be a standard blank way of killing someone if you want to kill someone in that manner. So yeah, I just think it's probably multiple people. And there is another theory out there that he never really stopped. So the Cass Quarter had murders of young people and prostitutes all the time, and it wasn't just these ones. Even later, after there was a case of a prostitute and her child. When I was reading through these newspapers. This wasn't part of the same thing, but there's a case like a prostitute and her baby, like her child, were just like found dead in a dumpster in the Cass Quarter. So cool, great, fantastic, shitty place to live. 6 more sex workers died over the next 4 or 5 years. These murders were confessed to by a man named Donald Murphy. Donald Murphy came in and confessed to the murders and had details no one except the killer would have known, which is kind of cool. Super nice.
Hey!
Holy shit, I was spot on.
But this is shitty for the police because the police already found another guy, David Payton, and they got him to confess after an 86-hour interrogation. Good job, police.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're fucking assholes.
Could you imagine watching the 86-hour one?
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
The ones we watched.
Yeah, you did. I didn't do anything. Well, the thing is, imagine it's like that guy too. Yeah, it's like the thing is, it's like when you do stuff like that, you get like in a weird mindset. You know what I mean? And I don't want to. I don't want to hang out with these people anymore. They get me messed up in this weird kind of mindset. So I go away. And I come back, and I didn't want to
come back from my coffee oasis.
Yeah.
That dude was the online recipe of confessions or police interrogations.
If he didn't have a rock solid alibi, they 100% would have arrested him for it.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this Murphy guy, That Dave Payne guy was confessed after 86 hours. This Murphy guy only admitted to 2 of those 6 murders that I said happened, and the rest of these 80s murders are still unsolved as well. So maybe the Bigfoot guy just kept murdering in through the 80s. Who the fuck knows? So what's your guys' theory? Okay, let's talk.
Yeah, I'll do mine. This is the original newspaper article. Hopefully you guys can see this.
Yeah.
What I found interesting, we'll just close this, is right next to the Bigfoot article is who beat his victims. We have Color Tile beats the pants off ordinary tile stores. How do I zoom in on this? By the Tandy Corporation. I think all of it, a colored man beats. I think all of it is some ploy by the Tandy Corporation to sell more color tile and wallpaper.
Calling a black guy in 2024 a colored man was
They said it, not me. They said it, and
this better pay off.
This newspaper is from July 24th, 1975. They said it, not me.
Better pay off.
And there's also Gandhi right next to that too.
Yeah, I read that one too, but that one I couldn't make a crazy leap to that.
So you think Tandy Corp is coming after the coloreds? Is that what you're
Are
trying
they
to
still
tell me?
around? Are they still around?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Black people? Yes, dude. Jesus Christ.
Sumit, I got your message. Parvinder wanted us to solve the Bigfoot killer. We're right at the precipice of this. And since you're not here the whole time, you don't have to pay the full amount. I got you. I understand your cheapness.
Hey, I was driving the truck for him, okay? There was a Walmart delivery that needed to happen right away. And he was missing, so I had to take the freaking thing. I put the turban on. We all look the same. Nobody knew nothing, and just got it done.
Good
Like a
job.
shady
Nice.
family we
That's
are.
pretty cool. We were talking, and it's pretty cool that you're cousins with a Pokemon. That fucking rocks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Pokemon.
What type is a Parvinder?
The one that spits fire.
Oh, cause Curry.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's the one.
That makes
Yes,
sense.
because he does spit fire.
Oh, he raps from the back.
Oh yeah,
He's got bars.
because we told him. Yeah, we told him like Parvinder, no, do not eat those beans, bro. You gotta go and drive the truck. But no, he does it. So, and
All right.
then we are all dead.
Tandy. Okay, Rick's back from his searching up Tandy Corp. Let's hear. What do you have to say about Tandy Corp?
All I found when I searched them is that they owned Radio Shack, which is now defunct. And I mean, have they found the serial killer yet? Obviously, there's something going on here.
Radio Shack killed all the Bigfoot.
Yeah, it makes
I'd say.
sense. Yeah, they probably needed more room for radio antennas, or I don't know. That's what Radio Shack did, right? They just built radio antennas in the
So
woods.
Radio Shack is now owned by Unicomer Group, which is based out of El Salvador.
Unicorns?
The murder capital
Oh.
of the world, baby. It all connects. It all connects.
It does all connect.
It's Bitcoin,
Fuck.
Bigfoot's ride unicorns.
Oh no, but the unicorns got him. I
No,
think they were
not
like, there ain't enough
unicorn.
room.
Unicomer.
Yeah, that's close enough, though. That was close enough for me to pretend like you said unicorns.
I'm okay with all of this, so that's perfect for me. Unicorns killed all these sex workers in 1975 Detroit.
See, that's what it is. White America pitting these minorities against one another, the unicorns and the Bigfeet, and sowing hatred and
Vinylon floor tile was 13 3/4 cents per square foot. So it might have been a 10-cent fine.
Yeah, maybe. What's the square foot now of
A vinyl flooring, like $1.13, probably.
Yeah.
All right, RJ, you look like you were deep in thought earlier. Do you have I like the unicorns.
Yeah. I'm
tried
just depressed because I mean, like, there's no more Bigfeet in the world, and it's the same way that we've all but erased Native American culture. Like we did it successfully with Bigfeet, and it's just, I don't know. This is a sad episode to reopen these old wounds of my nation's history and have to talk about what we've done.
You should feel ashamed for stuff that you did. You did do that.
Yeah, dude. My grandfather, David, fuck the Bigfeet McCarthy, was the chief of police in Detroit in 1976.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
McCarthyism again. happened again.
Yeah.
Just it
Well,
was
I mean,
against
yeah.
Big
At
Feet
first it was
the communists.
it was the red scare, and then it was the hair scare. So
There you go. Sumit, I like how you come in here and you have zero reference to what's going on, but you still got a nice smile on your face, and I love you.
I mean, sorry guys, I was a little bit late, but
No,
Yeah.
no, you
I
told us. Yeah, you were driving a truck for some reason.
yeah, because my cousins are crazy. Nah, yeah, I was just driving for work. Yeah,
do you accept that answer to tell your cousin? It's going to cost you a bit. Like if you're going to go there, you're going to walk into that room and tell your cousin, unicorns killed all the big feet, and it's corporate America pitting the minority cryptids against each other, and they've wiped each other themselves out. You can please, but it's going to cost you a bit of cash. What do you
I
think?
mean, he's also going to accept whatever fucking answer you give him because at the end of the day, he's
Yes.
got to live inside that Pokeball, and he doesn't really have a choice,
exactly.
right? That's how it works. Like they don't like go back in; they're pulled back in. I mean, that's my understanding of
Yeah.
science.
This one definitely gets pulled back in,
No,
and you're
okay.
feeding beans, or the fire doesn't come out from the back end. So pretty good. So if you don't want to fire, no beans. That's all. Yeah.
You get in here and you eat these fucking bushes, all right? These baked beans gotta go in your mouth. We got grass types to fuck up tomorrow, Parvinder.
Yeah. Fart already. You had in a bean, bro.
And if you don't fucking evolve tomorrow,
Guess who's going back to India?
That's
you're gonna
it.
go into I'm gonna go into that fucking PC and I'm gonna release you.
Yeah.
When you're stuck in a Pokeball with farts like that, that's like the Indian version of a Dutch oven. Is that an Indian oven?
No, that's like literally atomic bomb of India version, man. You just fucking throw it in and boom, it's gone.
Couple things for everyone that's listening. This will be our last episode for I'm going to take a little break, just take a 2-week break, and then we'll come back. It'll be the same thing. You're just not going to get a full episode in 2 weeks. I think that'll be good for everyone.
Yeah, that's nice. It's too bad there's not a video game that came out. So that would have been cool.
Yeah.
Hold on.
We could all start playing Overwatch.
No.
I'm playing something right now. It's called Journey. It's just 2-hour game, but it's really good. It's
Oh
calming.
yeah. Yeah, I know
Yeah, it's
Journey.
really
Yeah.
nice game. I like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You might find this hard to believe, but I'm currently playing Pokemon Omega.
Shocker.
Whoa.
and what's the other one? Oh yeah, Cabela's Bigfoot Hunting 2024.
Cabela should come out with a fucking cryptid
That'd
hunting.
be fucking rad.
That would be so
That'd be
good.
so good. You know how
Yeah.
many drunk people in arcades would just like fucking fiend over that?
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna get me a chupacabra.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.